When you talk about being in the business today, I think access is unlimited. I mean, you can do almost anything. And I have a personal foundation that I've started called Behind the Mic. And the premise of that is that there's 5 jobs in front of the mic, and there's 5 jobs behind the mic. Like right now, I'm the only one talking, and there's 4 guys in front of me. Desire doesn't necessitate ability, and that's not to diss anybody. I love playing basketball, I just can't. I can shoot, but I'm not a ball player. And I think that for young people especially, we want them to believe, and I have small children, so I understand this. You want them to believe, you want them to think, and you want them to feel that they can do anything, but you also want people to assess their talents. And I tell people all the time, if everybody's singing, who's holding the mics? Like, somebody has to be behind the scenes doing something. So I think for young people specifically, and especially because everybody's crewed up and they got their people with them and we all a crew, someone needs to be a leader and someone needs to be, I won't call it smart, somebody needs to have the insight and the foresight to say, listen, I'm not the best rapper in the group, which is kind of my story. So maybe I shouldn't be the rapper, but I'm good in numbers. Maybe I can be the manager. And someone needs to say, hey, you know what? I'm cool being a DJ, but I know how to set up the entire room so that the sound sounds amazing, and become the engineer. And when people really start to assess their personal talents from a level of not what I want today, or what I can be in 20 years, and I know when you're 17, 20 is like, whatever, I'll be 37, I'll be an old man, okay? I'll get here sooner than you think. I think that assessing your talents and really thinking about the long range plan, like having a real plan for your life, doesn't mean you can't do something today that you will stop doing to do something different. I'm a great example of that. But having a long range plan and really assessing your talents and assessing your God-given abilities versus things that you can learn, that is immeasurable. It's insurmountable. No one can teach that to you. No one can take that from you, and no one has to give it to you. That's just something you have to sit and just sit with yourself. When you're alone in your room, you stand at the wall. It's an LL lyric for y'all. You can figure that out, So I think that's the advice I give anybody. Understand your place in the sun and realize who you can be if you maximize your potential and not just your dreams. Growing up, having music in school was what helped me become who I am. And I think that it's a travesty for the richest economy in the world to not have art and music in every school, public or private. I think it's a travesty. I think it's, as a taxpayer, it's bad for, for me and for you. And I think that's something we need to address, because if you want people to be creative, they have to have an opportunity to learn how, but if you don't teach them, how they gonna grow? So I think it's terrible, and I think it's something that needs to be addressed. And at every opportunity, when I get to speak at schools, I do career days all the time, I talk about it. Who's in the music program? Who can play an instrument? My own kids, they're of age now, and my wife and I talk about all the time. I said, they don't have to become professional musicians. Matter of fact, I don't want my kids in the business, but I want them to learn how to play instruments, because I think it's vital. It gives you a different perspective, and it also opens you up to different types of conversation. It's culture.
When Little John and all the down south guys were using their regional influence on labels, and all those labels were like, damn, why would I pay X amount of dollars for all these samples? This dude here sold gold in his neighborhood, punching 2 notes on a Triton with no samples. As a businessman, I gotta look at that.
You thinking you helping their dream work is gonna help your dream as well, man. And the fucking moment was just like, hey man, swallow your pride, take that energy, and you help create a blueprint. Do that for yourself, man.
We're in a male-dominated industry, and we think that we're the enemy, and that's stupid. And so I started this event to bring all these women together that feel like they're so different, and show them that they're not. And so they can network, understand that relationships do matter, and it's not just relationships with men, it's relationships with other women also.
For us, the accolades and the recognition came naturally. It was never, our radio show was never a platform to get someplace else. It was the end result. It's what we wanted. We didn't have any ambitions for the show other than, like Bob always says, other than to have an incredible tape the next day.